Are you comfortable there?
Why can't I leave my phone alone?
Are you?
That's the real question. Like, why can't I just leave my phone in the other room? Why do I have to?
Because we're addicted. We have to have these things tethered to us at all times.
I know, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, because you got to check your messages. Because there's important stuff coming, you know. People are trying to get a hold of you. You've got important notifications from TikTok.
I gave up the talk.
You did?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
I gave it up, I think, sometime last year. Yeah, I just kind of decided that it was, like, not really worth my time. It was kind of, to get anything kind of seen or shown, like, you would have to pay. You'd have to promote it. That's just how it works. And it just didn't make any sense.
Sure.
I don't know. It didn't feel like the thing that was worth, like, promoting, at least, well, especially music that you have made, that you've already released. They actually won't even let you put that in there. Did you know that? Have you ever tried?
Yes, and I've noticed that anytime I do anything original, TikTok doesn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, musically.
Okay, so music that we've actually released, that, let's say we released it through CD Baby or whatever, and then they put like it's in the database. Does that make sense? So then it's in the database. Help me with my mic technique, Josh.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I didn't want to cut you off, so I'm like,
I'm like a newbie that way. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know these microphones, so that's good. So, okay, so when you release a song on TikTok, or I'm sorry, when you release a song in general, and then if you, let's say you want to make a video for it, and then you want to tag your song, you want to put your song over it.
Yes.
Or who cares? You just want to you're going to make a video of a tree or whatever, but you're just going to add your song over the top. Okay, no, let's change that. Let's say you made a video and you have the song in there, and then you want to upload that. Then it says that you don't have the rights. It disputes your rights. It says somebody else owns this song. You can't do anything about it.
Oh.
So it won't let you use it.
Even though it's your song.
Oh, okay, here we go. It won't let you promote it.
Even though it's yours.
Yeah, so it's been a while for me. So,
okay.
So it won't let you promote it. And promoting that's the way we get music out there, right? That's sort of the point. But it won't let you promote. So if you upload your music video with that song that you've already released, it will not let you promote it. It won't let you put some money behind it because it says you don't own the rights to it.
So who makes the money on the back end? Is it the technologists again? Do they just...
Well, I don't know. Weirdly, I mean, I'm the one that makes the money.
Right? Sure. So... But if it's tagging a video that you post that you put your own music in, are they just withholding that or something? Or is it going to you? I mean, maybe you don't know. Maybe it's hard to tell.
I think that it could be that they were in a dispute.
Okay.
Some of the companies in a dispute with TikTok and using their libraries. I think that might be what it was. I think I heard that. And then now that I'm looking back on it, like maybe that's what it was, but it just wouldn't even let you, put up your own song and like, promote it. So it's like so it'll let you promote something if you're just like, if it's completely original, it's never been released, or you're just taking video yourself, who cares? But it's better for that kind of stuff.
Well, before we go too far down the rabbit hole, I want to say, welcome everybody. This is Josh from Thousand Echoes, and today I have a very special guest in the studio, one of my favorite artists ever, Krista Herring. Krista and I have worked together for a long time. Tell me about. Let's go back. Let's go down memory lane for a little bit. Just kind of give some context, because if you don't know Krista's music, well, shame on you. Number one, I don't want to shame anybody. Actually, I'm just joking. But let's talk about the first time we did any. I don't remember where we met, but I know it was in Portland. This was probably 2013-ish.
No, it was before that.
Okay.
I want to say, okay, do you remember me doing a Portland Acoustic Co-op?
Vaguely.
So that would have been 2010. I believe 2010, 2011.
Okay, so probably 2011.
So this is before I moved to Nashville, and I moved to Nashville January the first time.
Okay.
The first of 5 times, January of 2012. So I think with you we were working in 2010 or 11.
Okay. And this was...
Which is really wild.
And I hadn't really done... I don't think I had really... I mean, I'd done a little bit of production for other artists, but you're like, hey, can you produce something for me? I was like, yeah, I guess I could. And so we gave it a shot. And the song was...
We have a couple.
We had a couple. What was the one?
The one we really liked. Okay, hold on.
Something Dreams?
Sweetest
Dream. Sweetest Dream.
And it's actually a great song.
Great song.
And the production was great.
Thank you. Well, I listen to it now and I'm like, man, I could do so much more with this. But it's kind of like like a time capsule in a way, you know.
My favorite thing was like the banjo.
Yes.
We need to use banjo. Can you do some banjo on some of my stuff?
I just need to buy a banjo again because I sold it to get the Profit Rev 2. So we go way back.
Yes. Yeah.
And which is amazing.
We're not that old.
No. Thank you.
We were clearly 10.
Yeah. We were only
10
we were only like 8 or 9.
Started working together.
I was like 8 or 9 maybe. But
he's just trying to say
one of the things that it's always blown me away about you as an artist is just how consistently great you are. Like at the whole thing, songwriting, as a vocalist, your feel, your time, your phrasing. There's just so many things. We were having this conversation for about an hour, and I was like, can we please just turn the camera on and have it on camera? And I'm kind of trying to relive some of the things that we were talking about. But you are just such a master at your craft. And you mentioned something about your guitar playing. Oh, sometimes I'm not like the greatest. But I'm like, no. It is so tied to what you do as a songwriter, your playing and your feel for your thing, and how important that is, and how I couldn't possibly replicate how you feel it. I could sound good, I think, playing your stuff, but I think what you do, and we were working on a song. It's a brand new song called Saving Grace, and it's gorgeous. And this has been a song that you've been working on for a long time, and you've kind of brought it back around because this is the year that you're going to go, all right, I'm back in the game, and I'm going to finish some stuff, and I am talking a lot. So I would love for you to talk. Tell me what...
We both can talk a lot. That's true.
Yeah. Tell me like where you've been, where you think you might be headed. Maybe that's geographically, maybe that's creatively, or it's both. You move around a lot. You're kind of like you're not afraid to put your guitar on your, on your back and just go where the road needs to take you. So tell me about that. What's that like for you as an artist, as a songwriter, and how does it inform your art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this about me, but this is something that has been like my whole life has been like. So by the time I was 15, I know we'd moved 17 times. And when I tell people that, they go, oh, wow, are you a military brat or whatever? I'm like, no, I don't know. That somehow that's just how it ended up. Not necessarily that we moved from like, it's like I spent all my school years in the same district, just to give you an idea. But we might have been a couple hours away. We might have had to commute, things like that, right? Okay. So at least I stayed in the same school district. But there was just always, from the time I was little, this, get up and go. We got to go. We got to get up and go. And there's probably some of those stories. You can probably hear them in some of my songs. You and I are going to work on some other new songs that I've written. One called Enough, and another one called Sunshine in the Blue. And I think they talk a little bit about some of those pieces. You get some of those like pieces in my songs, about like, getting up and leaving, and always, there's a line in Sunshine in the Blue that's like, I'm choking on the dust of my own tracks.
Whoa. That's heavy.
Yeah. But ironically, or not ironically, but my songs, they always carry some of that heaviness in, but then it's Sunshine in the Blue. It's like, that's the message, is like, whatever stuff we're going through, like, it's like, hopefully, like, you can always leave some sunshine in the blue. Like,
totally.
it's just about what you give. It's about what you leave behind, your energetic legacy, so to speak. Yeah.
That duality is something that it's really important to me as a songwriter. So for me, that is, I have an album called Dark in the Light, and then I have an album called Light in the Dark, right? So it's always this kind of yin and yang of darkness and lightness and energy, and that's something that you are. Now that you mention it, it's like, oh yeah, of course. That's why I feel like we connect creatively. It's just so easy to work with you. We've never had that conversation, but it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
I think we're both in tune with the alchemy of songwriting, the alchemy of making music.
Yeah. Right.
Which, like we talked about earlier, like, the thing that AI can't do, is
Sure.
like take human pain and transmute it into something beautiful.
Right.
It can imitate, it can imitate whatever it is we have done, but like there is a real energetic alchemical process that happens when we are creating, when we are taking these experiences that we've had. I mean, maybe this isn't like this for everyone else, but to me that's what like the best songs are about. It's like, man, we go through some really hard stuff as human beings, you know, and like we like just channeling that in to a song and finding the grace, and the light in that, it just allows you to let it go, right? Yeah. Because I think sometimes we get stuff stuck, literally, like emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It shows up in our bodies,
totally.
If we don't process things. And it shows up, it can literally physically show up as inflammation in our bodies,
You ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score?
I don't think I have. I've heard of it, but I have definitely, I definitely know Louise Hay's work, and that sounds like something, maybe an offshoot of hers or something.
Yeah, and I've not read the book, but Miranda has, and she's kind of talks about this a lot. We're always having these conversations, but that I totally subscribe to what you're saying, that those experiences, like, we do hold on to them. And music is a form of medicine, right? And I've heard you talk about this, actually. You were the one who kind of really called that to my attention. It's like, this is medicine, for the body, for the soul, for the spirit, and I think that's another thing that I maybe connect with. Do you think it's possible, and I'm just asking, it's not like we know like a ton about this stuff because we're not technologists, but do you think it's possible for an AI to create medicine musically? Or do you feel like, okay, there's a difference. There's like organic, more herbal medicine, and then there's more synthetic. Maybe the difference between Eastern and Western, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know.
I like that comparison. Yeah, it is kind of like synthetic versus herbs. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense because it sort of imitates, right? It can only imitate. It can't originally create something.
Right.
Which is the spark of God, right? Whatever you want to call it. Like, that's where the magic is. AI can't do that. But it is supremely intelligent and can follow patterns, and it literally knows that, like, this pattern will make you feel this way. And there is something powerful even just about knowing that and recognizing that certain tones, certain patterns, certain words can evoke a certain energy or experience within ourselves. And so that in and itself could be medicine. Is it the same kind of medicine as, sitting with your shit and like turning it into like, really and feeling and processing it and, finding the light in it and releasing? I don't know,
I just got Miranda this cool like apothecary book that has like herbal remedies, and we were both getting the same ad on Instagram. We kind of both got hooked by the marketing and got it. So it's wintertime. We're all dealing with a lot of upper respiratory stuff, and we've got two little guys. 1 4, 1 almost 6. Every other week, it's like somebody's bringing home a new cold or whatever. We're doing the cough syrup stuff. Oh, yeah. However it feels comfortable.
I just realized I was awkwardly
However it feels comfortable. This is so informal, and it's part of the show, you know. But then we looked in this book. There's like an herbal remedy version of like a cough syrup that has like honey in it. It's no secret that honey has a lot of antibacterial properties, you know. But then you put like I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember if it was like
slippery elm.
It was some kind of thing.
Some willow bark.
I know you know a lot about this stuff, and I don't. I love to experiment. She put these herbs in this honey, and it took, I don't know if it was 3 days or 8 days before all those properties, the honey kind of naturally pulls them out of those herbs, and it creates, and then you strain it, and then it creates this more natural cough syrup. And we've all been using it, and it's been great. Now, I don't have the science to back that up, and I would never claim to, but it's kind of like, it's working.
But it can be found, right?
Sure,
it's like,
sure.
Yeah, where did Western medicine come from? Where did we isolated compounds from herbs?
Totally. And I wonder if it's similar with music, kind of the way you're describing it. It's like, first of all, I'm listening to you talking, I'm going, oh my God, she's so freaking smart. Because you really understand nuances and the elements that go into creating music and making it really effective. Every time I hear one of your songs, I'm going, oh, there's not a single thing that I could pick out that I would want to change about this. You know, and when you bring me a song to help you with either produce or whatever, it's like I am like so devoted to making the song the star, because what you bring me is just pure gold.
Yeah.
I'm trying to feel what you're doing and go, I can't star in this. Right? Like I can't come at this and and it's not like that for every song. It's not like that for every artist, but there are definitely certain artists where it's like that. Really, we need to make sure that we don't step on Krista and step on Krista's song. And so where do we go with that conversation?
I just wanted to say about that. I mean, yeah, you're right. And I almost don't trust anybody else with my music. We work so well together, but you Thank are God. So good at that. You put the song first. You put the song first, and then you also have great bedside manner, as you say. That's a weird thing to say, but and you listen to me. You listen to what it is I want. You're almost a translator for me, like between the technology and just like getting the song from like just getting my vision out of my head. And so that's really important. It's just really important for me to have somebody like that. I think I told you earlier, like I have no desire. People always say like, why don't you just record? You can just record in your room. Just get the, whatever on your computer. And I'm like, I really don't want to.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound interesting to me. I don't want my nature is not wanting to like plug in more into technology.
Yeah.
And like I do what it is I do well, and I love to collaborate, and I want to that's really important to me. Working with people, collaboration, like creative collaboration. Like I think it's unhealthy that we've gotten to this place where it's like, let's just be all isolated and, we can just send this to this guy and he can lay down the bass, send this to this, he can lay down the drums.
Sure.
But it's like, okay, yeah, you could do that. Might even be cheaper. I don't know. You know what I mean? But what have you lost in the process of that? You've lost experiences, the experience of going into the studio, spending time with people, getting to know them, like creating a bond.
Right.
Something that AI, for example, cannot create. Like, sure, it can just whip out some,
Yeah.
thematic, formulaic, something that sounds kind of awesome. Let's not, let's be honest. I have been duped.
So have I.
I have been duped by the AI music, and I've been like, who is this guy? Oh my God, what was his name? Johnny. Anyway, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I literally go search for him.
Yeah.
Couldn't find him. And I thought it was like a joke.
Yeah.
Or not a joke, but like, I almost thought it was a marketing scheme. Did I tell you this?
No.
Where I thought like, oh, wow, this is like brilliant. This guy is so great. The label decided that they would like keep him under wraps, almost like he's like indie or whatever.
Sure.
And you're going to go looking for him. And no, it was just fucking AI. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. And it's a trip. Like, I don't know about you. And so I was actually just talking to Jason, who I was in the studio with last week, working with an artist, doing a record the old-fashioned way, and it's so fun. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I was in there going, man, can we do this every day? Like just 2 days of it last week was like, man, this is so special. And I'm working with some of the most talented like session players in the area, and it's like they're coming up with all this cool stuff, and it's inspiring. And to your point, it's like having people that you're having that shared experience with. Those are things that only happen when you're in the room together.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen if you send it to me. I do it up in my studio. Right. As cool as that may be. Let me go just make sure. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Just making sure that both mics are recording. But I know, wouldn't that suck? It's like
one-sided combo.
But yeah, so but I don't know about you, but so what I was going to say was Jason said that he had an artist come in and had made demos out of and I'm sorry to make this whole conversation about AI. There's so many other more interesting things to talk about, but because AI is
big.
Always a point of conversation right now, he said he had an artist come in that had written these songs, but then produced demos on, Suno or whichever one it was, and then they want to come into the studio though, and have real musicians
imitate it,
play it. You know what I mean? To create, it's like, hey, I made the demo, and I think that's kind of it's like I can understand that type of usage of like an AI where you can kind of get there quicker. Yeah, no, everybody feels differently about this.
Yeah.
I'm a little more agnostic about that part of it when it really comes back down to it. What I heard today, your song that we were working on, I can't imagine AI creating something this emotive, this effective. I know some of your backstory, some of the lost loves and maybe some love triangles and some failed experiments and things like that. So I know a little bit of the backstory here. That's all being graphed into the nuances of your voice. I always say that like the little tiny imperfections, I'm not hearing those when I'm listening to an AI produced track. And to me, those are the parts of music that are really, that I'm connecting to, and I'm being dragged into, pulled into this world. This universe is how I described it. A song is a universe, in my opinion. And your songs are like that. They pull me into this place of like, whoa, you're taking me to this other realm where I'm experiencing and feeling something. Because when I'm listening to your song, I'm not listening to it as you. I'm listening to it as me. Right. It's my song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It becomes mine. Like it's the listener who's having that experience. You're projecting your own self into that story. And I hear it mostly in the vocals with AI. A lot of the AI stuff I've heard, I hear little artifacts of like something that sounds synthetic. Mm. And when there's a phrase in here, it's I think it's on your second verse where I hear your pain, the way you twist this, and it's like your voice kind of almost cracks in like such a cool way. And I'm like, oh man, those are the things I feel like AI hasn't conquered yet. I personally feel like, will it ever really?
Well,
You know?
I don't think that it really can, and the reason is because we are alive. We
Yeah.
have souls, and
Yeah.
we're creative beings, and so we have actual energy that we are putting out, that we are magnifying, that we are capturing and magnifying. AI can't really do that. It can imitate it, but it can't do that. It can't take the actual energy. And I think there's something real about that.
Yeah. Why do you want to write songs?
I don't know if I want to. I can't not.
Yeah.
And not to say, by the way, that I don't go through like time periods where I just need a break and don't pick up the guitar for a long period of time.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I don't really want people asking like, "Oh, what have you been writing? You've been performing?" Like,
Yeah.
Don't talk.
Do you
Don't
ever
talk to me.
Do you ever notice this? And I'm going to ask you because I go through those periods too, where there's like nothing for a while. But I personally always feel like actually that's where the writing is happening, because that's where the lived experience is going to inform the moment that I pick up the guitar and all of a sudden something spills out. It's like, oh, where did that come from? That's been gone for a few months or maybe a year. Yeah. You know? Does that resonate with you at all, or how do you experience that?
Yeah, sometimes I think there's what I would call like an integration period, you know, like making sense of something, or like being able to get to a place where you can process it, you know, like where everything kind of calms down and is safe. That's how it works for me anyway. I can't speak to other people, but just like, well, I've just been through some crazy shit, and then, okay, now I'm safe, you know, things are calmed down. And usually for me, from that stable, safe space, then I go, I'm going to pick up the guitar. And then even if I haven't picked it up for months, you know, if I'm in the right place, it's the right time, something comes out, you know. And then suddenly, like a fully formed song, you know, comes out, and it's like processing something. I also want to say that, like, in this day and age, like, everything is so different. So, I don't know if everyone will like fully like relate to that.
Sure. No, that's okay. And honestly, like, I mean, I think that's good. Everybody needs to find their own way of processing their life experience, but also as a songwriter, specifically as a creative person, everybody's going to approach it a little differently. And that's what I'm also fascinated with, the process. I've always wondered this about you. It's my sense that you being able to pack up and move to a new location, maybe you know one or two people there, or maybe you don't know anybody. You have this fearlessness about being able to pack up and go. And I wonder, do you seek out those experiences because it's always what you've known? Or do you think some of it may be like there's songs over there?
Yeah, there are a couple aspects to that. Good job bringing it back around from the first thing we started talking about. One is, I definitely have a wanderlust. I definitely have that gypsy spirit. And also, I think of myself kind of like a bridge. So I like to experience different places and different cultures, because really we live in this giant country, and the truth is there's absolutely different cultures.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you're on the West Coast or you're in Alabama, and I've been in both. You know,
sure.
Those are very different places, and I think I see myself sort of in the same way, like as music itself, to like as the thing that brings people together. Like there's so much beauty in all of these places. There's also, each of these places has their own shadows as well. Right. But so I kind of want to like touch into the songs of these places. Yeah. You know? I kind of find that I need water, if that makes sense. Like water, just like, you know, in Muscle Shoals, there's like the Tennessee River, and that's also, of course, running through Nashville. But I don't know. There's something about that. Yeah. they call it the Singing River in Muscle Shoals.
Oh, wow.
And
that's cool.
And of course my first song that I wrote in Muscle Shoals was called The River, and it was totally like inspired by that. There's different experiences and different energy to be had in different places. I experience myself differently in different places.
Sure.
I am seen differently in different places. Some places I don't feel seen.
Yeah.
Some places I feel lost. Mm-hmm. Some places I feel more grounded and I feel seen. And some places are just like all about independence and adventure. I don't know, Yeah. But they're all a different experience. And it is really interesting to me. It's fascinating how geography can inform our experience of life and ourselves.
Right.
And I don't know how I would know that other than having lived in all these places.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I know that there's so many people who just never leave where they've lived. And that's just their path in their life, and that's fine. Sure. But over here, I'm like, oh God, it's kind of a shame because you like can't fully understand, or you might not be able to fully understand, like what it's like living in this place for this person, why they do the things they do, instead of oftentimes some of these cultures judge each other. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place that you've lived, or a place that really ignites you creatively or energetically?
See, that's really hard, and it's really mixed. There's just such different experiences. I feel like I love musical towns, or like I really enjoyed Muscle Shoals area. Yeah. It was so full of music. You can feel it. Yeah. You can feel the music there. And it's inspiring. It's because it's a little bit spacious. Yeah. In a way. But then again, it's a small town, and like, you get to a certain point where maybe it's not so fun anymore, right? Like maybe it's a little too small for a very expansive spirit, Sure. And so I got a lot out of it. But like if I thought about like what geography speaks to my soul and makes me feel like really expanded, I would say the mountains. So I loved Colorado. Okay. Yeah. But I also didn't find like I really liked people, but I found that it wasn't like a very community oriented place. It was a very like, oh, we're all adventurous and independent and go hiking by myself in the mountains, Yeah, sure. And that was okay too. Right. But nothing really like kept me there, if that makes sense. Right. Right. But then you've got a place like Nashville that's full of music. And when I first moved there in 2012, definitely felt that. Yeah. Definitely started writing a bunch of songs, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe, it depends, time and place and whatever. Now I would say, the last time I lived in Nashville was just, not that many months ago, right? Yeah. And totally different experience.
Well, we were just there in October. Yeah. And it was so fun. And we got to work with our friend JP Gentile on a song, and that was a blast. But JP's also not from there. He's from elsewhere. He grew up in Philly and spent a bunch of time in Reading and was really involved in like the worship music scene that was coming out of there. And then now I want to say his wife is from there, or her family's from there. So they moved out there. So I would say he's not like really connected to the scene, but I know my favorite places around Nashville. And then when I go there, it's like, oh my God, like Bobby's Idle Hour is one of my favorite places. Yeah. I don't know if you know Bobby's. And I got to show Miranda for the first time, and we walked in, and there's maybe 12 to 15 people scattered about the bar, and then they're doing a songwriters in the round thing, and then there's 3 or 4 guys up, and it's just like one absolutely stunning song after the next. Mind-blowing talent, top tier. These guys can hang with anybody. But like, it does feel like there's been a big change in Nashville, and I can't put my finger on it. Maybe you can speak to it because you've spent a lot more time there.
Yeah, I have lived there off and on, or attempted 5 times since 2012. Wow. So yeah, it was a very different experience in 2012. I mean, as was like the whole world, right?
Sure.
As was Portland, right?
Absolutely.
I have tried, and seen it over the years kind of shift and change. What I would say about it now is, for me, it felt heavy. It felt overwhelming. There was some fun. I mean, you could have fun, I suppose. Totally. Yeah. It just, it depends where you're living. What kind of traffic do you have to deal with?
Yeah.
You know, like you think, oh, you're just going to live, 20 minutes outside of downtown and work downtown. No, like you're going to be in an hour of traffic, and you are 20% more likely statistically as a driver to get in an accident in Nashville because somebody's going to hit you because there's crazy drivers on the road.
Yeah.
And there are a number of factors for that reason. So, there's that. So it's quality of life. But what's happening in Nashville? So having gone back this last time, because always the music pulls me back. So when I was out, on the California coast for a little bit, kind of in a regroup, and just giving that backstory to say that, like, as far as experiences in different locales, and this is funny because I was born and raised in California.
Okay.
But I could not feel myself there.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I mean, you and I talked about this enough.
Santa Cruz, right?
I was in Santa Cruz, and then we went to Half Moon Bay for a few months. But
right.
Mostly. Yeah, and I just, I didn't vibe with it. It's like, of course I love the redwoods. Of course I love the ocean. And, if you just looked at my social media and were like, oh, like, you must just love it there so much, because I'm getting sunsets and beautiful views all the time and making all these reels. And the truth was I appreciated being able to be like, I appreciated what it had.
Yeah.
I loved that, but I didn't feel in any way connected to the energy or the community. I didn't feel like there was any community. And one of the reasons for that is that people can't afford to live there, right? Artists can't afford to live there anymore. Okay. And so let's take this back to Nashville. So I felt called to go back to Nashville because I was like, I need to get back to the music. I can't feel it here. Nothing's inspiring me here. I don't feel myself. Yeah. So we're back in Nashville. But what I've discovered is that it's so expensive to live in Nashville, and you're not making any more money. In fact, you're making less.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching, all my coworkers, all these freaking amazing singer-songwriters and musicians. Like, it's just, honestly, you just feel a little like lost because you're like, well, I'm just in, one in a sea of literally everybody.
Right.
We're all in the music industry.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's also hard to get a service job.
Sure.
But we're all in the music industry, and it stops being special.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think my experience with that was Portland. Portland started to get really expensive. It's like, it feels like the artists, they move into a city like Portland or Nashville or whatever, LA, and they make it special. They inspire culture, right?
Yeah.
And then once that becomes such a commodity, or it becomes commoditized by whatever, big investors come in and they want to build high rises because, well, we want more people here. And that's one of the sad things about Nashville that we discovered when Jason and I went out there like 7-8 years ago. That's when we first found Bobby's Idle Hour, and Music Row was, I think, very well preserved. But now when you go there, you see these huge buildings that are towering over Columbia Records and the historical Columbia and whatever, RCA, or it's totally changed the vibe, and it's like kind of takes away from how special that history is there. And those places are still there, and I hope they never get torn down. But it's like, it's really expensive to maintain those, even just to preserve them. I felt like the same thing happened in Portland. It's like artists started getting priced out of Portland.
Yeah.
So it's like you move to Salem, but then Salem starts to get more expensive. Right. And to your point, it's like all the artists want to be in a big city like that because that's where the opportunity is. That's where more people like them are congregating. It's hard to watch, but it's just a reality of the way things are. Yeah. Circling back to the technology part of things, are we just destined to be isolated, or do you think people are going to snap out of it?
Oh, I think people will snap out of it.
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
It could get worse before it gets better. Yeah. But I mean, the most important thing at this point is like people have to stop letting themselves be programmed for division. seeing their neighbor as their enemy. Like, anybody that voted different than you is the enemy, you know? Well, actually, like, you know, if you were like interacting with these people instead of trolling online or going into the comments, don't do it, you know, then you would find that you like these people. And maybe they have a reason for their perspective. Maybe,
Sure.
you know, and could we come from a place of curiosity instead of allowing ourselves to be emotionally programmed?
Can art be a bridge for that?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I think it's super tricky too. I think about this in terms of like art and politics and all that stuff. And I think it's tricky for me, you know, to be like, do I share my opinion or do I keep it to myself sometimes? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I try to be very balanced in the things that I say or share. But yeah, that's a tough one. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, everyone thinks like, well, my opinion is so important. But like, actually, I've had someone say this to me before, like, because I got up in arms about somebody like, you know, attacking me online for something. And I was like, well, if you don't like it, then you can just leave. Like, I don't, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Go ahead, unfriend me. Like, I usually, like, I don't really go to that place, and it's like, whatever. But it's like, you know, come on, live and let live, or like, goodbye. But I had someone comment that like, well, you know, that's so sad because like some of these people could probably really use your music. And I think about that. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, well, she's right. Mm-hmm. Because actually those people in particular, they love my music.
Sure.
And they need it because my music is generally nervous system regulating.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. That is the medicine I think that I bring to the world mostly. It's why I don't generally write from a place of anger.
Yeah.
You know, or like I've had people say like, why don't you write like more, you know what I mean? Or like write those upbeat, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Or like, I don't know, like that's not like the place that I naturally come from. You know, I'm not going to beat myself up for what isn't my lane. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard somebody say once, I can't remember who to attribute this quote to, but they said something to the effect of that artists exist outside of the dominance hierarchy. And I've always thought that was really interesting. I guess I relate to that quote in the sense that I feel like I'm an observer, even if I'm not a commentator directly on a given whatever subject or event or whatever it is. I'm still affected by all those things, and subconsciously they may make their way into how I'm processing even something as simple as heartbreak, even though that's not necessarily simple. It can be very complex, obviously. But that is to say, like, whatever your environment is or whatever whoever it is that you're surrounding yourself with, news we're being inundated with at any given moment, it's all part of our experience. And so I feel like your perspective and your experience that you've gained from having never been afraid to go experience somebody else's culture, because I agree with you 100%. Like, we live in a country of like little countries. We may share a language, but even that, you'll go somewhere else, Muscle Shoals, and they have their own language and they have their own way of speaking, and they've got their own pace. And I think that your experiences have given you you're not telling the entire story in a song like Saving Grace, but it's informed by all of these places that you've been and all these people that you had community with or created with. Sorry. I think you know what I'm saying.
No, yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of that. I don't know. That's human experience, and you're pulling these visuals and the descriptive imagery like from pieces of your experience in that place. That's kind of what that's what I loved about the South. It was just rich experientially. Yeah. You know what I mean? The humidity, the feel, the fireflies, like the river, like the roll of the thunder. It's come in a flood. These phrases. Yeah. Right? That it's like so the South.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, that's not language we have up here in the Northwest. Right. Which is so cool.
Yeah. Oh,
we have our own language here.
There's some things because I dated a couple guys out there too, and you're like, what? What does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't, translator.
Yeah, I was reminded of something, and then you started talking about all of these. Oh, I was going to mention, so I'm a big fan of like history. I've done a lot of like reading on like Civil War history specifically. So when I think of the South as well, I think about like kind of what happened 150 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about like the types of things and how even history and generations pass on things to the next generation and to the next generation, And so I think you're calling attention to all of the things that happen in nature, like the rolling thunder, like all that. Or how did you say it just now? It was so cool.
It's coming a flood.
It's coming a flood. Oh, that's like,
which is the opening line in the river, right?
Wow. Cool. Yes.
Coming a flood.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
My bones.
Well, yeah, and you wouldn't have had that language for that song had you not gone there. Let me ask you this. For songwriters who are young or inexperienced or somebody who's just like getting into it, how do you become as great as Krista Herring?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very sweet of you to say.
It's very true of me to say. What advice do you give to somebody who's 10 years behind you or 20 maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's all about listening, taking in, observing, experiencing, which AI can't do, by the way. I just keep having to throw that in.
Yeah, and that's one thing we haven't talked about, listening. What do you mean by that?
When I say listening, I mean also listening to yourself, listening to your body, listening to your experience about something, learning to feel, being okay with feelings, not being afraid of feelings. I mean, that's, if you're an artist and you're a songwriter, that's gonna kind of come naturally. I think you're probably a wordy person. I was writing poetry before I started playing the guitar finally at 16. And so the first 2 chords I learned, I immediately wrote a song.
Yeah.
That first song, Great Spirit.
Wow, cool. Yeah. How old were you?
And I was always writing prayers. I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like just turned 16. Yeah. And so, and it was just a processing mechanism. It might be different for everybody, but for me, I think the real medicine of music also is as a creator of music is in the process of, listening internally, allowing space for your truth, for your experience, for your feelings to come out, not judging them, finding the beauty in them, and honoring them by creating something. And then it's like things flow through you like a river, you know what I mean? And stuff doesn't get stuck. So I think it's like one of the best health biohacks.
Yeah, sure. That's good.
If you avoid the typical musician lifestyle, right? Of being up all night and drinking. If you don't do that, then but the act of songwriting itself, yeah, that's incredible.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because I still find myself in night owl mode a lot. Like I don't know if it's my body can't go to sleep at a decent hour. I just can't turn it off until I'm like, it's clear that there's no way I'll be able to keep my eyes open.
I can give you some actual physical supplement hacks around that.
Yeah, totally. Which I would love those.
I'll give you a whole list of things. I sleep like a baby. I sleep 9 to 10 hours a night.
Sure. Well, yeah. But I think like finding a balance, I think that's one of those things that you're not thinking about those things when you're in your 20s. But then you get into your like mid 30s and you're like, dang, I just can't stay up the way I used to, I can't, I don't have the energy I did when I was 22 or 25 or 28 or whatever the number is. Finding that balance of creativity and body and mental health, that's really important. Do you feel like you're a better songwriter now, or do you feel like your best music is behind you? Is your best music in front of you or behind you? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm always going to say my best music is in front of me.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Is it going to be different? Yes. Yeah. There was something that was really cool about that stuff that I wrote in my, 20s, right? I was maybe a little more free. maybe didn't know the rules as well, and therefore I broke them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, you know what I mean? I have songs. There's like my first album is out there on Spotify, you know. There's, you know, songs in there that like, were there like 3 breaks in that song? There's like so many parts to it. And that's like pure creativity. Honestly, like that's kind of cool, you know? Like I don't know how to write like that anymore. Yeah. But I also have learned how to say more with less. And I've learned the rules, you know, like AI, right? Not all of them, but like that's part of the learning, you know. It's like, oh, okay, how can we get the point across without telling the whole story? How can we communicate, you know what I mean? How can we honor the core, but like not have to get all crazy? And, you know,
yeah,
I don't know.
Totally.
There's beauty in all of it, right? There's beauty in both things.
Right. And I always frame it as there are no rules, just tools. That's kind of one of my little shticks,
right.
Which you've probably heard me talk about before. But like, I know that there are kind of like general like rules, you know, when it comes to especially the stuff that like AI would be trained on, right? And I kind of always feel like once you kind of learn the rules, like kind of the general roadmaps, that's when you can break the rules or veer off course in ways that are really cool and creative.
Yeah.
That maybe you can go, it's kind of like you can revisit your 20s again, but you've got all this, and when I say 20s, all I mean is you're more inexperienced, or you know, when you were more
freer.
Yeah, free or more green at this. It's like you can kind of revisit that, but you've got all this other like information. You've got all these other tools at your disposal that you've picked up over many years, over working with many different types of people in many different places in your case, and just really create with a new type of freedom.
Absolutely. That's to me like the quintessential like combining of the head and the heart. And so then you can be intuitive about stuff, which I am with songs, as you know.
Yeah,
right? They're all different. I'll literally fight it. I think we've talked about this before. I'll fight the song. I'll be like, I don't know, I can't come up with a bridge. But then it's like, no, it doesn't really need a bridge.
Yeah.
This song just doesn't need a bridge, you know? That is what it is. Or it'll be like, sometimes it'll just be like, well, you know, there's not a real chorus. Or it's like the chorus isn't the same, but there's just like one phrase, one clinching phrase. And then that's the title. You know what I mean? That's the title of the song. They're just all different.
So if we're going to, I feel like we could just go on for hours. And there's probably a part 1 of, I don't know, 10 episodes that we do together. But if we're going to land the plane, I want to know, where do you feel like you're headed, and what can we look forward to when it comes to like your music in 2026?
Yeah, the year of the fire horse.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, that's what you told me. Yes.
Fast and Furious. I don't know. We're definitely finally looking at completing some of the things we started, hopefully really soon. Some of the things we started in Muscle Shoals, whatnot. But man, I have like a couple albums probably worth of songs that I've been just waiting. And so I'm in the process for sure of kind of separating those out into like, all right, what makes sense here and there. And so we're just going to set aside some time.
Yeah.
Because you have so much time.
We as in you and me.
Yes, you and me.
Yeah.
You know, that's my number one intention and goal this year. It is all about like getting this music out there, resources going towards that, you know, like, yeah, that's
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Exciting.
Collaboration, creative collaboration, you know, just, and that's what excites me most. People ask me all the time, like, I haven't been playing out. Yeah. Doesn't mean that I won't. Doesn't mean that I don't miss it. But, you know, I have to always be intuitive about, like, what feels right and timing.
Sure.
You know? And I don't know, for whatever reason, you know, it's just what excites me most is, like, you know, bringing these songs to life and then releasing to these babies into the world. That's where we're at right now.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Everybody, Krista Herring, go check out her music, especially the album that we did together.
Well, Like water.
Like water. Thank you. I was going to say tidal wave. That's one of the songs.
That was a good song.
But yeah, thank you so much for sitting down and talking and having this conversation on camera. I hope that it's been informative and fruitful for you to listen to. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much. And make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, stay creative and stay human. I'll see you on the next one.